everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby. I'm with Fitness is Medicine. Today we're going to do another great workout you can do in your home. So remember to always come into these workouts warmed up and ready to go. So do your exercise bike or your elliptical or your treadmill, or if you can go outside and walk around the block, walk up and down the street, or maybe do your cardio first and then come into this. You don't have to do cardio first, but I at least want you to do 5 to 10 minutes of a warm up to get your muscles ready to move, get your heart rate going a little bit, your blood vessels are opened and transporting oxygen efficiently and ready to go. All right, so that being said, we're going to start today with push-ups. So remember, there's lots of different levels of push-ups. So you can start at your kitchen counter or a wall or a bathroom counter even. Then you could lower down maybe to a bench on the floor. You can do them on your knees. You can start with 5, maybe try to progress to 10, or if you're really good at push-ups, do 20 or 30 of them. There's a lot of different ways to level up and level down, and you're still getting the same great workout that you need for you. Okay, so I'm going to start here on the floor. Go ahead and start where you are comfortable. Or just remember to keep your hands beneath your shoulders. You're reaching down with your chest, and you're keeping your head in line with the rest of your spine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Remember too, if you want to try starting with a couple on your toes and then fall to your knees, that's okay. You can kind of level it up and level it down as you're going. Okay, now we're going to do what is called a suitcase squat. So I'm going to use a kettlebell. If you don't have a kettlebell, you can use a dumbbell or a gallon of water or, a bucket, things like that. Just one side. And we're going to hold it on one side, just like a suitcase, right? So if you were carrying a suitcase, or, carrying a bucket of water, that type of thing. I know suitcases are different now, where you don't carry like the big thing, you usually roll it, but there's always a time when you have to carry it. We're going to hold on one side and squat down evenly, but only the weight is on one side. So your core is going to have to engage, and different muscles will have to engage in order to keep you stable and keep you centered. All right, so just sit back like normal. You're just sitting those hips back. 2, if you need to, do this as a sit to stand to really make sure you're keeping that good form. 4, keeping your shoulders and chest up nice and tall. 5, 6, so we're gonna do 10 on each side. 7, really sitting back into those heels. 8, 9, and 10. Good. Also, keep those knees centered. You want them over your heels, but also not collapsing towards the inside. If you find you're doing this, really focus on keeping them over your heels. 1, 2, keep breathing. Really squeeze those glutes as you stand up. 3, 4, 5. You don't have to go all the way to the ground. You could go here. 6, keep in the range of motion that is pain-free. 8, 9, and 10. All right, good. All right, suitcase squats. Remember, when you set it back down, use good form, bend those knees, sit your hips back. Okay, now we're going to lower down to the floor with one dumbbell, maybe a little bit heavier, but we're going to do a triceps exercise, skull crushers. If you've ever done those, you would know what type of weight to grab. So we're going to lie down on your back and grab one weight. So your knees are bent, your feet are flat on the floor, so you've got a nice flat back. You're going to put that one weight straight overhead with your elbows in nice and close. Slowly lower that weight towards your forehead. Slowly being the key word there. You do not want to hit your forehead. This is called skull crushers, but we don't actually want to do that. 3. So we're really isolating your triceps here by only bending at your elbows. So don't go back like this. It's okay, but then you're going to be working more your shoulders and your lats. And we really want to isolate your triceps here. 6, 7, nice and easy, nice and slowly. 8, 9, and 10. All right, good. Now lower that down and you can set it off to one side. Now we're going to stand back up, but before we do, we're going to put a band around your ankles. So we're going to do some side stepping, but let's start by putting that band around your ankles on the floor. Unless that's hard for you to get up that way, then get up to a chair and put the band around your ankles there. And then remember to stand up slowly so that you do not get lightheaded. Okay, I'm going to raise my camera here. And we're gonna do some side stepping for those hips. Good glute exercise. Now, the keys to this exercise, we're gonna sit back in an athletic stance. Again, your hips are back, your knees are bent. Not a squat, but just a bit of an athletic stance. Your knees, hips, and then your abs are engaged, ready for movement. Feet are about shoulder width apart, and you're not gonna really let them come closer than that. So you're gonna take tiny steps. We're going to go 10 in one direction. And the key to this is keeping those toes straight forward or almost turned in a little bit, but not letting this foot, it's really common for this foot to kind of want to lead out like that because our hip flexors and our quads are stronger and they want to take over. We want to force our body into working those glutes. Good. So you can go 10 in one direction, 10 in the other direction, or if it doesn't feel like very much, depending on the strength of your band, you could go more slowly and maybe do 20 in one direction, 20 in the other. Conversely, if you have a really, really strong band, maybe do a little bit fewer. So you can gauge depending on what you have in your home gym. Okay, now we're going to grab a fit ball and do some bridges with your feet up on the ball. So here, if you don't have a ball, you can just do bridges with your feet on the floor. No big deal. So back down to the floor. We're getting up and down off the floor in between exercises here, as you see. Now, to do a bridge on the ball, the closer you have it into your knees, the easier it is. The further you have it out on your heels, the more difficult. So you can maybe start closer to your knees and then you can always change as the set progresses. Or maybe the first set you do close and then you're like, okay, I could do maybe a little further away. So we're gonna do 10, holding it for 5 seconds each time. So flatten your back to the mat or the floor, come up into a hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, slowly down, adjust each time, flatten that back. And you can slowly count with yourself. You can move that ball each time, maybe a little further out or a little further in. Really think about squeezing with your glutes. Also, when you come up, that's where you're focusing on. Your hamstrings are also going to feel this because this is a hamstring exercise, but it's really all about squeezing those glutes and holding that glute squeeze versus trying to think about forcing your hips up through the ceiling like this. Like that's too much. So you're really almost in a straight line, but even if you don't quite get to a straight line, that's okay. It's really mostly about squeezing and working on those glutes and hamstrings versus trying to throw your hips up towards the ceiling, which that's kind of been a common thing that's been cued over the years, but it's really more about squeezing on your behind versus forcing your front further up. So we've got 2 more after this one, I think. 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, slowly lower down. So one thing you can do is stretch out those hamstrings if they're feeling really tight after all of that. You could do each leg like that. And then also really focus on that hamstring stretch at the end of your workout. So hold those each for about 30 seconds. Now we're going to, again, slowly come back up to standing. So turn over. You can let your blood pressure regulate, make sure you're not feeling lightheaded or dizzy, and then stand up when you are ready. Okay, now I want you to grab, if you don't have like a balance pad or maybe a Bosu in your house, I'm going to show you how you can use just a folded up towel or a throw pillow. Make sure you don't have any other equipment in your way. And we're going to do some slow marches, standing either on a folded up towel or a throw pillow. You can throw a pillowcase on the pillow if you're not willing to, you know, stand on one of your nice pillows. That's okay. Throw a nice pillowcase on it so you don't get dirty. I want to slowly march. So lift that knee all the way up to your hip. If the pillow does, or the folded up towel doesn't give you enough kind of extra balance challenge, like I think the pillow would give you a little more. If you don't need that balance challenge, just do this on the floor. You could also try a couple different, you know, a couple towels or a couple folded up blankets, that type of thing. It's just a little bit harder to stand on than, you know, like a hard floor or carpet. Nice and slowly, really focusing on bringing those knees all the way up to hip height. And nice and slowly. Three more each side. Oops. 10 and 10. All right, good. So that's a little balance challenge, a little hip control. When you're standing on one side, you're having to balance and get your hip stabilization all in one. So that's where the slow part comes in. Okay, please let me know if you have any questions. Go through these a couple more times and follow up with a cool down and stretch. You can always add cardio in between sets. Keep your heart rate up, make it a good full body workout, and let me know if you have any questions or need anything changed. Okay, thank you so much, and we'll see you all next time.